Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on my top 5 houseplants of March. And if you are not familiar with my top 5 houseplants of the month, I just show you 5 houseplants that have been doing very well for me. I do basic care tips on the plants and where the plants sit in my home. And then I also show you one houseplant that is not doing so great. And then I ask for your tips and advice on how to make the plant better. So let's get right into it. First plant I'm going to show you is this Syngonium. And I think it's a Syngonium Confetti. That's what I bought it as. And I bought it probably 2 years ago. This plant struggled so much. It had a really difficult time during my move. And it lost a lot of the leaves, but it is finally growing back. It did get mealybugs, and I've never had mealybugs on any of my Syngoniums before. So when this one got mealybugs, I was totally surprised. But I did get rid of the mealybugs for the most part. Here and there I will see a few, and it's still in quarantine far away from all my other plants. If you guys saw any of my other videos, that my kids did get a new puppy, and she did break one of the leaves, this one here. So I was kind of upset about that, but it does have other leaves that are growing, and it's such a beautiful plant. This is one of the newest leaves that is unfurling, and you can see all the pink in that leaf. And then here's some other leaves. It's just such a gorgeous plant. Unfortunately, I only have one stem of this plant, and that's pretty much how I bought it. I bought it from Glasshouse Works, I think that's what it's called, a long time ago. So it's doing good for the most part. I do water this plant once a week. I have been fertilizing it once a week as well with my fish emulsion fertilizer. So my Syngonium Confetti, one of my top 5 houseplants in the month of March. Okay, so the next plant I'm going to show you is actually a plant that one of you guys gave me, and it was a cutting when I got it. I'll insert a picture of it, but this is what it's doing now. So this is the Hoya Eyevaragata, I believe, and it has so much new growth. It's doing really good, so I'm super happy with this plant. So it does sit under my grow light, and I do keep a close eye on this one. This Hoya I only water like every week and a half, sometimes even 2 weeks. I wait till the soil is totally dry, and then I will water it. But so far so good. I just started giving it some of the fish emulsion fertilizer because when I saw it starting to get growth, I started fertilizing it. So I really love this plant, and I am very thankful for the person that gave it to me. So this is another plant here on my top 5 houseplants of March. Okay, so the next plant I'm going to show you is a plant that I purchased a long time ago. I think I did a shop with me video on that, but I really can't remember. I purchased this plant at a local nursery here. It's an outdoor nursery. And when I saw it, I thought it was a Philodendron Brazil. But they also had Philodendron Brazils there, and this plant looked different than that plant. So I believe this plant is a Philodendron Silver Stripe. So there's a close-up of some of the leaves. And this plant doesn't have too much of the variegation, the silver stripe in the plant. A lot of the leaves are green, but I'm totally fine with it. It is an awesome plant. For a while it was not growing for me, and then I put it in a different spot in my house, and it just took off and started growing a long trail. So it does have this really long trail, but like I said, the trail, the new growth does not have the variegation in the leaves, but I'm fine with it. As long as it's growing and it's healthy, I am fine with whatever it looks like. But this plant I do water probably once a week to every week and a half. I do use the fertilizer on it, and it does sit on my wall, so it doesn't get too much light, but I guess it gets enough light because it is loving the spot that it's in. So this is the third plant here on my top 5 houseplants of March, my Philodendron Silver Stripe. So the next houseplant on my top 5 houseplants of the month is my Syndapsis Moonlight. And I just got this plant, but I am so impressed with the growth that it has. So it has so many new leaves unfurling. It has this trail with a new leaf coming out there. It has some new growth coming in under there. And I was just super impressed with this plant and the growth. From what I have read and what I have heard, this plant is not a fast grower. So when I saw a lot of new leaves coming out, I was really excited about that. This plant actually sits in that empty ring there on my wall, so you can see all the light that it gets from the grow light, and it really seems to be liking that spot. I do water this plant probably once a week to once every week and a half, just depending on, you know, I do the soil test. When the soil is pretty dry, I will go ahead and water it. And yes, I do water this, I do fertilize this one with the fish emulsion fertilizer as well. So it is doing great. My Syndapsis Moonlight. Okay, so the last plant here on the top 5 houseplants of the month is going to be this Pothos, the Manjula Pothos. When I purchased this plant, it was in a small 4-inch pot at Walmart, or the 2-inch pot, whatever you can get at Walmart, the Costa Farms small little angel pots. And at first I didn't know what it was. I got this plant a long time ago. I'm going to say at least a year and a half ago, and at first I'm not sure, I wasn't sure what it was, but it was so intriguing that I had to get it, and I'm glad that I did. So this plant was not really growing too much for me. I did have it sitting in not so much light, but I thought it would be fine because it was a pothos. It did get pretty good light over there because it is in my plant room, and I have 2 grow lights in here. And then we have the south-facing window over here, but it is back over that way where it just, I don't know, it wasn't doing so well. So I also have this one sitting on that wall as well. So it does get a lot of light now from the grow light, and I did notice that it is unfurling some new leaves. So it does have this one here, and then it has a new one coming out here. So I was really happy when I saw the new growth on this plant, because from my experience, this plant is a pretty slow grower. But like I said, I'm really happy that I have it. I'm happy that it's loving the spot that it's in on the wall. I do water it once a week or every week and a half. My Pothos Manjula, or Manjula Pothos. Okay, now I'm going to show you a plant that has been struggling so bad for me, and I was about ready to throw this plant in the trash. It is my Alocasia Maharani. So this plant got attacked by spider mites, of course, right? Alocasia. And I cut off most of the leaves. It had this leaf left, but I don't know, this leaf just shriveled up and died. So I was gonna throw it in the trash, but I wanted to give it one last chance at life. So I stuck it in a glass jar near my grow light, and I watered it. I started watering it once a week. Before, I was just watering it when I noticed the soil was dry, but I guess it wasn't liking that, so I started just watering it once a week, and it did start growing a new leaf. So this is my sad plant of the month. I was kind of struggling to find a sad plant for the month because most of my plants are doing pretty good right now, which is awesome. But this is one plant that just struggles really bad in my house. So I think I'm just going to keep it in that glass jar. And it doesn't have a lid on it or anything. It's just in the glass jar. And I'm going to continue to water it every single week. And hopefully I will get a new plant out of it, because this plant was such a beautiful plant. And I did spend $25 on it. So I'm really hoping that it will continue to grow. The new leaf looks pretty happy, looks pretty healthy. So I have some hope for this plant. But if you guys have any tips for me on how to keep my Maharani happy, please leave it in the comments below. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like the top 5 houseplants of the month, please give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more plant videos from me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I just want to thank everybody so much for watching. And until next time, guys, bye.